Hey nerds, and Happy New Year. We are running down our list of the top TV shows of 2025. We again don't have a lot of overlap, so this should be interesting. Let's get into it right now. Welcome back to the Nerd Social. I'm Nathan.
And I'm Colin.
As always, if you want to skip ahead of our intro to our list, there are chapter links below in the description. This is our second video recorded in 2026. Colin just posted a review of The Pit. If you want to check it out, there should be a link above. We've already listed our top movies. If you haven't seen that, there's another link above that you can check out. I'll be honest, I watched fewer shows than movies in 2025, but I still clocked in at, I think, actually, the script that I'm reading says 57, but I think I missed a bunch of Apple TV shows, so I think it's closer it's actually closer to 67 in 2025. To keep my list from being 3 hours long, I had to dust off Python bracketing program that I wrote a few years ago to narrow down. So how was your TV watching experience, Colin, in 2025?
So I watched a lot more television series than movies. So spent a lot of time with the streaming stuff. A lot of my list comes from watching content with my wife. We do a lot of rewatching of certain shows, some new shows that come up, some reality shows that come up as well. She really helps me expand what I would usually watch. So I had a lot of different shows on my list that I found really intriguing.
All right, so let's just start to dig into this a little bit because we have a lot of ground to cover, especially in our honorable mention section, which you'll see in a second. Follow along to see if any of our picks made your list, and of course, you can comment down below. All right, I'm going to start off with the honorable mention section before we hit our top. I have a massive backlog to clear here. As I said, watching like 67 shows, there's a lot of shows that I want to give a quick mention to, or maybe give a sentence about why I like them. And long story short, is an adult animated show on Netflix. It follows a Jewish family. It's out of sequence. That you get some sequences in the past, the future, and when they were kids. It's really well written. It just missed my top 5. I think definitely should check it out. I got to see it during the summer when I was on vacation with my family. Matlock season 2. So Matlock is the only network television show on that I even considered. Matlock is the show headed by Kathy Bates. She's excellent in the show. If you haven't seen season 1, you should definitely check out season 1, the big twist in the pilot. But season 2 continues the very interesting stuff that goes on in season 1. Platonic season 2, also very good. The Seth Rogen show about 2 platonic friends on Apple TV Plus. A great show. There's no possibility at all of them getting together in a romantic situation, which is great. They have their own thing. They have their own people that they like. The comedy of the show is just them trying to navigate adulthood as friends. Hacks season 4 has won many Emmys, and I think season 4 is actually better than the last season. Pluribus on Apple TV Plus, which came out at the end of the year. Great sci-fi show about basically an alien invasion. Definitely check it out. It's by the guys who made Breaking Bad and also Better Call Saul. Slow Horses, we got season 5 last year. I think the last 2 seasons were really good. I think season 3 was probably one of the weaker ones, but even a weak season of Slow Horses is a good season. The television is really well written, and they, unlike a lot of shows, know where they're going. At the end of every season, there's a teaser for the next season, and that has been the case for the last 5 seasons. Gilded Age season 3, again, was stronger than season 2 for me. There was a lot of interesting stuff going on with Peggy, one of the black leads in the show. But what is the internet called? The rich guys, robber baron daddy or something like that.
Yeah.
His conflict with his wife this season was actually pretty interesting as well. Alien Earth was a little uneven for me in places, but it was also very compelling. And since they got a second season, I'm interested to see if they can correct some of the pacing issues. But there was a lot of great ideas that they explored in Alien Earth that I'm looking forward to them fleshing out. Severance season 2 was really great, except for one detour episode. I think it was very good. I think it actually might be better than the first season again, because we just get more answers about what's going on. Eyes of Wakanda was one of my favorites last year as well. It was a good mix of basically an anthology of different time periods within Wakanda history. Animated show Foundation season 3, best season of Foundation. And just like Slow Horses, there's a lot of Apple TV Plus shows here.
I haven't seen any of these.
You should definitely get Apple TV Plus. Their quality control is HBO level. If you want to see really well-written and sci-fi, you have to get an Apple TV Plus subscription. Foundation is, of course, based upon the Asimov novel, and season 3 is probably the best season because there's some wild stuff that goes on, just escalations from the previous seasons. House of Guinness, a very good pulpy period piece in Ireland. I know a show is really great when it's a period piece where it has me pausing and looking up stuff all the time, seeing whether or not things actually happen that way. I fell down a rabbit hole going into the Guinness family lineage while watching the show. And it's also just well acted and well written as well. Looking forward to season 2 of that. 1,000 Blows is another period piece by the creators of Peaky Blinders. They actually just released a new season of 1,000 Blows, and I'll do a review of that. That'll be up the channel soon. Dope Thief, another great Apple TV show. It is about these small-time crooks who get over their heads. Very well written. I think it actually got some Emmy nominations as well, maybe some Critics' Choice nominations also. I'm not sure if it won. I've been looking at the winners from the last couple days. Paradise is a Hulu show. It's basically an apocalypse. So it's a show about a artificial community that was developed after a catastrophic natural disaster. There's a lot of intrigue there. There's a commentary on our current ruling tech billionaire class in the show. And the lead actor in the show is Sterling K. Brown, who is exceptional. But there are other great actors as well. Actually, James Marsden, Cyclops, plays a very prominent role in the show as well. The Paper is made by the creators of The Office and Parks and Rec, and it has a kind of rocky beginning, but honestly, the first season of The Paper was actually better than the first season of Parks and Rec. Parks and Rec had to adjust a lot, but by the end of the first season of The Paper, I like a lot of the characters a lot more than I did at the end of the first season of Parks. And there is a little bit of a connection with The Office. Oscar is a holdover, and they don't harp on it, but it's definitely a connection between the two shows.
Yeah.
The Residence is a whodunit show in the vein of Knives Out. Unfortunately got canceled, but Uzo Adubu, I really want to see more of her in roles like this where she gets to be an eccentric, brilliant person. You may know her from, of course, Orange is the New Black as Crazy Eyes, but she is an exceptional actor. Washington Black is another period piece about a black inventor, a fictional black inventor around the time of slavery. He actually escapes slavery and escapes to Canada. Welcome to Derry was also a great surprise at the end of the year. It was a really good show, very solid. I had small quibbles with it, but for the most part, it was really good. If I didn't realize that I missed a bunch of Apple TV shows, it would have been in my top 5. It was in my original list of top 5. And finally, Nautilus on AMC Plus. It's a retelling of the Jules Verne story, actually the origin of Captain Nemo, who is, I didn't know this until I actually did some research, is a Southeast Asian or Indian man. And I think he was always supposed to be, but you don't find that out in the first novel. You find that out in subsequent novels as I did my research. That's my list of just the honorable mentions because it was a strong year in television.
Yeah. So I got a few others as well. Starting off with Dexter Original Sin. That's the prequel of Dexter. Dexter is the serial killer. He worked in the police department and basically killed all the bad guys. Sarah Michelle Gellar's in it. Christina Milian's in it as well. But it got canceled because they did Dexter Resurrections. Michael C. Hall is back as Dexter, so it's a sequel to the original Dexter. And in this one, it has his son in it, and it's definitely very intriguing. Uma Thurman's in it as well, and also Kristen Ritter, who played Jessica Jones, is in it. They play like a murder cult, which was really interesting. The next one that's on my list is Murdaugh, Death Family. That's on Hulu. This is a crime case of a very wealthy, powerful family that gets in trouble with a person that's murdering his wife and his son. Alec Murdaugh is played by Jason Clarke, who is brilliant in this role. He just nails the role. Patricia Arquette plays his wife. Anyone that's into true crime would want to get into that. Next one on my list is Here Rivalry. This came at the very end of the year. It's been making the rounds as being a very big show in terms of gay representation, made from Canada. So it's been around social media. Women really like it a lot. My wife really enjoys it. And overall, it's definitely a very solid show. Even though there's a lot of highly sexual content in it, it's still worthwhile in terms of the emotion that's at play. And also the whole idea of being closeted is very fascinating. White Lotus season 3, which happened at the beginning of 2025 in Thailand. Patrick Schwarzenegger's character makes you want to cringe. And also Jason Isaacs brilliant in it. You know, there was a lot of controversy with him on social media about his member, and Lisa from Blackpink was in it, and she was one of the big leads as well. The Gilded Age season 3 was on here. I think that the story about the Black public school was really interesting, how they were able to raise money from the wealthy class in order to have the school available to the greater public, and also incorporating a lot of the Irish people into the school because they were not going to survive without a more diverse student body. The Hunting Wives season 1. This was very scandalous. It was on Netflix. Stars Brittany Snow, who was also in Murdaugh. She played the podcaster in Murdaugh, Death in the Family. Malin Ackerman is in it. So remember her from Watchmen. She plays the alpha female married to a very prominent oil man trying to run for governor, and definitely scandalous, lots of skin if you're interested in that. The Summer I Turned Pretty season 3. I did not watch the first 2 seasons. I just got into it because one of my wife's friends recommended it. I think it's on Amazon. Created by Jenny Han, who did To All the Boys I Loved Before, the trilogy. So this is 2 families that grew up together. The girl during the summer turns pretty, ends up trying to marry one of the brothers, falls in love with the other brother. It has ended. So definitely was a really enjoyable experience. Emily in Paris season 5. I just watched that on Netflix. That was pretty good overall, pretty solid. The star who created Sex and the City went on to do Emily in Paris. I really didn't get to watch a lot of the first 4 seasons, but kept me captivated, and a lot of the Sex and the City themes that you saw put it into play here. Also talks about how older women become more attractive, and so Emily's boss is the one that really gets it on, and her escapades are really interesting throughout. And finally, Palm Royale season 2. This is with Ricky Martin and also with Kristen Wiig. I think she's one of the executive producers. It tells all the stories of the rich and famous during the 70s, and was in
Miami, right?
In Miami.
That's one of the few Apple TV Plus shows that I don't watch.
Yeah, but it's really good though. I mean, I watched it. It's really intriguing. And of course, Ricky Martin, coming back to the scene here after being away from the spotlight for a while. And of course, he plays a gay man. Yeah. So that's something to check out.
All right. The recording says that we've been talking for 20 minutes. It'd probably be less time for you guys when we edit this. That was just our honorable mentions. We're going to get into our top 5. Colin, you want to start with your number 5?
So my number 5 was Wednesday season 2. I did a review of this back in August and September of last year. There were a lot of deaths in season 2 to kind of wrap up a lot of the season 1 characters to close their storylines. The relationship between Wednesday and Enid is really strong, and looking forward to what they cook up in season 3, because Wednesday is now on a mission to try to track down Enid. I don't want to spoil it for people that haven't watched it yet, but that's kind of how season 2 ended.
Yeah, I like this. I don't think it made my top list just because I hadn't finished it. So I saw the first part of it, and then they released it in 2 parts, and I didn't see the second part yet. So when I catch up and see the second part, maybe it'll rise higher in my list, even into the honorable mentions. So my number 5 is Department Q. This is a Netflix show. It is about a detective who is kind of a hotshot detective. He's kind of a persnickety, almost like not Sherlock, but he's very competent and maybe a little bit arrogant. But the show starts with, and this is not a spoiler because this is like in the first scene, him and his partner getting shot and almost dying. I think both of them got shot in the head. And so he comes back and he has to recover from that because he's sort of a hero. They can't necessarily fire him, but they also are concerned about whether or not he can do his job. So they kind of give him a job in the basement, which is what the show is named after, Department Q, for cold cases. The case that this season is mostly focused on is a cold case of a solicitor. This is in the UK. A solicitor who's been missing for years. He gets a assistant who is a Syrian refugee, and you find out more about his past. He's very quiet, and this is the only job that he can get. You get some hints that maybe he was an enforcer or a torturer at some point in Syria. There's a dark past in Syria that he doesn't talk about. He seems very mild-mannered until he isn't. It's very well written and very well acted as well. This is just like Welcome to Derry. This was higher on my list until I factored in the Apple TV stuff. But I really like this show. I think it got an 88% on Rotten Tomato, but I really like the show. I really like the performances of the lead characters. This is from the creator of The Queen's Gambit, Scott Frank. Matthew Good is the main actor in the show, the main detective.
So my number 4 is Squid Game season 3. I think that for me, the cliffhanger from season 2, which was made in December of 2024, you had to wait 6 months in order to get the last part of it. And that was very annoying. I was upset that the VIP, I'm going to spoil it a little bit here, that the VIPs let the baby become the new player, but the baby ended up winning. So that's but that's still a little solace for the mother that's dead. The ending brings about a new series of Squid Game that will be based in North America. It'll be interesting to see what games would be played and how the future series may mirror the state of the American economy at that time, because I would surmise that there's going to be a lot of desperate people considering the fact that our economy is not so well right now.
Yeah, I didn't know they're going to do one in America. I feel like capitalism kind of eats everything. Even the things that try to critique capitalism, it undercuts the message.
Exactly.
It undercuts the message of the thing.
The show's creator said that he had his teeth falling out because he made no money in season 1. So he had to write season 2 and 3 in order to make some money out of it. So you're right about what you said about capitalism basically eats itself. And then there's all this merch, Halloween costumes, and I'm like, that's not the point.
And Mr. Beast did a thing parroting the show years ago as well. He's missing the point, but he's doing something because he has 500 million followers on YouTube, which is crazy. I guess it's par for the course for Americans. We were just talking about the fact that people who like Star Trek don't necessarily understand the fact that it was always been woke. And a lot of people don't understand the point of the show, apparently, that it's critiquing capitalism.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. All right. So my number 4 is your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. If you have been following our channel, there is actually a review above for the episodes that they gave us, but we also covered it week to week as well.
I remember covering it.
Yeah. So the art direction is great. The storytelling is also exceptional. That it's actually an alternate universe outside of the MCU, so they can do different things than the Peter that we know of in the MCU. So the story is a little bit different. There's an inciting incident that changes that universe and Peter's trajectory in that universe. The art direction is kind of doing a different thing than Spider-Verse, but it's still very unique. It's trying to mimic the 1960s style of Peter when he first debuted with Stan Lee and Ditko. Colman Domingo plays Norman Osborn. It's a really good show, and I'm looking forward. It's when we do our most anticipated lists later on. It just might make an appearance on lists of the most anticipated shows of 2026.
I did the reviews for it. It didn't come into my top 5 and didn't come in my honorable mentions. I just kind of forgot about it, actually. So I'm glad you're mentioning it, even though I did reviews for it.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. It stuck with me because one of the better things that happened this year. And this will be sort of I think there are shows that are, if you were just doing, 10 years out, the things that people will remember from 2025, and that might not be all on my list. All of our lists are very personal, and from the year that we had to just deal with, I needed more escape, and this is a really good show to escape with. Yeah.
So my number 3 is King of the Hill season 14. It's the revival series on Hulu and Disney Plus. It examines Hank Hill and Peggy Hill is now older. I think they just came back from Japan.
Saudi Arabia.
No, not Japan. Saudi Arabia. They just came back from Saudi Arabia promoting the Strickland propane brand. He's now retired, and so their son Bobby is actually running a Japanese restaurant. And so there's a lot of wokeness that's involved here, a lot more than I expected, which was really cool. And also Hank and Peggy Hill are baby boomers, basically, and Bobby's like their millennial child, and how they all navigate with each other. Some of the characters from the original show, like Boomhauer, like Dale's back. You have John Redcorn's son is back as well, and also Connie's back. So this tension between Connie and Bobby, because they were teenage lovers back in the day. So yeah, it's definitely a very good revival, and there's a lot of different nuances as to explaining what the commentary of our day is. So I really felt surprised when I watched King of the Hill that it was this deep, and that they leaned into that type of woke progressiveness that comes about, and definitely really enjoyed it. And so you can definitely see that it's from the perspective of Hank, who is definitely a little bit more conservative, but even he is, I wouldn't want to say that he's MAGA. He's definitely not, but definitely has a little bit of George W. Bush Republican, maybe the older George Bush Republican era that's still in there. But then he's still carefully trying to adjust to some of the more modern times instead of just being stuck in his ways.
I really like this show as well. I mean, I like the original King of the Hill. And honestly, you say woke, but I think this is a similar kind of situation like Star Trek. There were woke elements in the original one as well. What people are calling woke is just decency. Hank has always been conservative,
Yes.
and he's still conservative, but he was also a decent guy. And he's
Yep.
he's
Sure.
adjusting to some of the changes in the world, and he's still trying to be a decent guy. So I really like the interesting thing that they've done with Bobby and Colleen, because they could have written her in a certain way where she was perfect based upon how they were in childhood, but that's not how anyone's life always goes. Sometimes they're like
No.
peaks and valleys. So she has her own interesting challenges that she's dealing with as well. Yeah, I liked it quite a bit. Are they doing a second season?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I didn't really know if they are or not.
It's a really good show. I liked it quite a bit. I think I watched it all the way through in one sitting when I got access to it. So yeah. So my number 3 is actually Andor season 2. However, it is higher on Colin's list, so I'm gonna let him talk about it first.
Yeah, so definitely it was my number 2 of the year. When I first watched it, it's adult Star Wars. It kind of spoke to the time of this current administration's, even with Mon Mothma's speech, to what's happening right now in our country. It's just a great piece of storytelling. If you didn't understand what fascism is like, you need to watch this show because that's what it's like. We, of course, knew this and warned about this a year ago. Now, hopefully some people have watched it and they're like, oh, they're making some parallels to it.
Yeah.
So that's why it's just so relevant to our time. 10 years from now, 20 years from now, season 2 is probably going to be the piece where, okay, this is what's happening. This is what happened in 2025. This is why it's important and why it's almost like a piece of our history, our American history. In order to understand it, you watch it through the lens of Star Wars and you look back in 2025 and you see what happened, counter argument, all of that's going on to those that did not have a voice or for those that felt as though they were powerless.
Yeah, so earlier I said that these lists are very personal to us, and there are probably some things that are on this list that might not be talked about in 10 years. This will probably be talked about in 10 years. The only reason this is not number 1 on my list is because, as I said, just what has been happening in our world. This is way too close to home. We are recording this a couple days after someone was executed in the streets by an ICE agent. Very analogous to what we saw in this show. We are hearing from our government propaganda as if we were supposed to ignore what we saw before our eyes and accept the state-sponsored description of what actually happened. And that's what happens in this show. You see how truth doesn't matter anymore. That was a big part of Mon Mothma's speech, where truth dies. Unfortunately, that's what's happening in our country. Like I said, this didn't pull me out of our reality. This is the only reason why it's not my number 1. That's why it is number 3 on my list. Go ahead.
But I would say one thing is that Dedra, the character Dedra, is what's going to happen to all those that were just following orders.
Yeah, let's hope that's where Dedra's end up. My number 2 is the studio, because like I said, I needed some escape, and this show was very funny. It shows, it's basically behind the scenes of the studio system in Hollywood. I guess people who review movies and television shows, this might be more interesting to us than it would be to most people, but it's like a workplace drama, but the comedy is so good. The writing is so good. Honestly, one of the funniest things I saw last year, maybe the funniest thing that I saw last year. I actually got to see it in 2024 because I got screeners for it early. It's another Seth Rogen show. He has 2 shows on Apple TV Plus. This is the superior one, even though the other one is really, really good too. It was just a testament to how good this show is. There's all kinds of celebrity cameos because I guess he just went through his Rolodex of people that he's worked with for the last 25 years and had them show up basically as themselves. Anthony Mackie shows up, Zoe Kravitz shows up, Olivia Wilde, Zac Efron, Ron Howard, Martin Scorsese shows up as themselves. Actually in the cast, Catherine O'Hare, Catherine Hahn play actual characters, and they are hilarious. Watch the show. I'm sure it got a lot of critics' choice nominations. Again, I haven't watched the results for that show yet, but it's really funny. It's a really funny show. Yeah.
So my number 1 is The Pitt. So Pitt season 1, actually. So at this time last year, it came out, and now it's season 2, which I'm reviewing. This is 15 episodes. It was 15 episodes before. So basically the premise is that it examines the Pittsburgh emergency room and so looks at all the different challenges that happens in the healthcare space. Noah Wiley comes back. So those of you that don't know who Noah Wiley is, he was Dr. John Carter from a big medical drama back on NBC in the 90s. So it's the same creative team that comes back to do this. And so it's 15 episodes. Each of them represent an hour. So it's kind of like 24 in some ways, but it's intense. It just goes by so quickly. And you are so connected with all the characters, the patients, the doctors, what they're going through. So their faults, all of their strengths, all their weaknesses, and the competency, the professionalism that they have is just so amazing. And they are winner of 5 Primetime Emmys, so outstanding drama series. Also, Noah Wiley won, and also the lead nurse also won. Her name is Catherine Danasa, also won as well. So it's really well done if you like medical dramas. It's not like Grey's Anatomy where there's a lot of drama outside of the medical field, but it just sticks with you because the issues are real, and it really is a very close examination of healthcare in the 21st century, because ours was kind of like back in the 90s. So it's a little bit dated. So now it's much more of a modern version of what that looked like.
I haven't seen this show yet. I know that it's gotten a lot of acclaim. I know it's won a lot of awards. As you said, you're reviewing it now. I couldn't review it with you because I haven't seen the first season yet, but I hear it's really good. I need to catch up on it. And it does appeal to me just seeing the update to the hospital drama, because I think that because Grey's Anatomy has been on so long, a lot of things that they cover are more closer to the way the healthcare system worked in the 90s as opposed to how it works now. There's actually another network show I watch called St. Denny Medical, which is
I also watched too. That's kind of like the Scrubs version.
Yeah, it's more modern take, but it also talks about a lot of the issues that hospitals face nowadays. And Scrubs is coming back too, but
Scrubs is coming back as well. So they're all into the medical dramas. We're all living the 90s again, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to catch up on it. I hear it's really great. All right, so my number 1 is Murderbot. This is another Apple TV show. This show is a sci-fi show starring Alexander Skarsgård, basically as a dry-witted robot, like he's a defense robot who hacked himself so that he can follow his own command. The name that he decides to give himself is Murderbot, but he doesn't tell anyone that. He knows that if he tells anyone that, he's going to be destroyed. He actually gets connected with this hapless group of pacifists, like socialists, who are doing scientific research, and he protects them on this desolate planet. It's hilarious. I don't know if it's his funny studio with the joke density, but it's still very, very funny. It's funny in a different way. It's just absurd. The situations that they find themselves in. There's some action because it's a sci-fi show. He's a robot. He has very little emotions, but the way that he reacts to humans who he really does not like. He doesn't like because humans treat him terribly, because they treat him like an inanimate object. Most humans anyway. His view of humans being connected with these hippies is just right for comedy. It's also very sweet in places as well, as they get to understand him and he gets to understand them. So yeah, Murderbot is my favorite 2025, mostly because, like I said, I needed to escape this reality, and that gave me the most joy in 2025.
It's good. I mean, we need that. Definitely need that in order to keep fighting the good fight. So that's our top 5 lists of TV shows for 2025. Did any of our picks make your lists? Please comment down below with your top picks, and feel free to disagree respectfully with our take. Like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. We will see you next video. All right. Take care, everybody.
Bye.